terribly wrong of people to go ahead with pregnancies. And to have an abortion is the right thing. It may not be an easy thing.
That's a pretty horrifying thing.
What?
To say, that you would put a pillow over...
Of course I would, if it was a child I really loved. For some reason, I just loathed the 60s. In a way, it was an awful time for women. The pill had come in a big way, and there seemed to be no reason now to say no to anybody. I got pregnant because I was madly in love with someone. He just said, you know, what on earth do you think you're up to? I'm not interested in it. So I went and had an abortion. In those days, you had to get a piece of paper signed by 2 psychiatrists. And there was this absolutely vile doctor whose job it was to make me cry and feel suicidal, and I realised pretty quickly that unless I burst into tears and said I was going to jump out of a window, I wouldn't get very far. There was a man in a kind of apron, like a butcher, and one of those sort of J-cloths on his head, stirrups, which you just got into, and a bucket, I remember, just full of blood, just as they were between your legs. I don't remember having any feelings about it at all. The second abortion was much more difficult. It was probably my last chance. I was about 37. Unfortunately, I realised my life would be involved with somebody I didn't really get on with. And I felt I couldn't do this to a baby. And it was saying that I was only going to have one child, which was sad. I would have liked many more children. True, no, and I think that if I were a mother of a suffering child, I would be the first to want, I mean a deeply suffering child, I would be the first to want to put a pillow over its face.
Dr. Peter Evans
as I would with any suffering thing. And I think the difference is that my feeling of horror at suffering is much greater than my feeling of getting rid of a couple of cells, because suffering can go on for years.
I'm sorry, I was just about to introduce another guest there, but that's a pretty horrifying thing.
What?
To say, that you would put a pillow over...
Of course I would, if it was a child I really loved who is in agony. I think any good mother would.
That's going to cause some shock amongst people.
I don't know any mother who wouldn't say that if there was nothing else that could be done, and it was
just not true.
Do you think that mothers would agree with you?
I think a lot would. Maybe not any, but a lot.
Dr. Peter Evans is from...
Pillow over its face.
Dr. Peter...
Pillow over its face.
Dr. Peter...
Pillow over its face.
Dr. Peter... That's a pretty horrifying thing.
What?
To say, that you would put a pillow over...
Of course I would, if it was a child I really loved.